Yeah, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zod. But anyways, man, like I just want to get into something real quick. Cause it's like social media right now, and like it's just crazy. If it's not, one fool beefing with the next, it's this whole thing with the protests and Trump doing what he's doing, and people up in arms about that fact. And it's crazy because it's so much of it's separated by multiple divisions. See, on one hand, I and this is what I'm hearing when I'm on social media, because I'm on it all day just trying to figure out what I want to talk about, and there's so much to talk about. But I just want to get into this because it's funny, and I'm saying it's funny because the thought pattern of a lot of different people on all sides. So in one hand, I see comments and I see posts about the black participation in the protests. On one hand, you got some people that are like they praise it, and they're like, yeah, you know what, that's showing solidarity. Because people, there's a lot that's trying to show solidarity regardless of what has been transpiring, what has transpired in the past, how many derogatory terms that have been used towards black individuals regarding other things that was taking place, even though they had absolutely nothing to do with it, but they lumped them all in one coat. And I used to say it all the time, like you can't throw everybody in the same boat because of one thing. And now the same thing is happening to everybody else, and it's kind of like one of those things. Now people are understanding exactly why it's not right to place everybody in one bubble. Now, I'm not gonna get on here and talk about who's right or wrong. I just wanted to point out a few things that I find a little funny. Like, and then you have, the homies. You have a lot of homies that are, either pro Trump. You have a lot of homies that are, pro their people. And then you got some that just don't care. Everybody's entitled to believe and act the way they want. There's whatever consequences people assume there will be. We'll see when it's all said and done. Now, that's not even the thing I'm tripping off of, because then you got the other side that are not. They have no affiliation to any gangs at all. They're just Hispanic, Latinos, Mexicanos, Salvadorans, whatever, that don't really deal with the banderos, and they don't really trip off that. And to be honest, they really don't like it, period, but they'll tolerate it in some instances. Like, and that's what I say, because there's when you look at the comments in a lot of these posts, you have these people that be like, oh, well, the Hispanic, the Cholos ain't doing enough for their people, and like, where you guys at? Like, you do this, you do that, but where you at? But then I'll see another comment where it says, any gangsters and cholos don't have no right to speak on the situation that's taking place right now, which is deportation. Which is funny because there's a lot of homies that their family are immigrants. They came here as immigrants, regardless of whatever title people want to put. They put all the time like this was us before anybody else, and that's true. Mexico, this was a part of Mexico. A lot of parts, but at the end of the day, it's war, and in war people lose. It's like that's why certain countries, when they do have their little wars, whatever, they never put on uniforms. They don't put on certain things that would signify any type of real army, because then that gives the U.S. or whoever, whatever country they fight, the right to take their land when it's all said and done. They no longer control anything if you lose the war. So that whole thing that took place, not going to get into that, because at the end of the day, people will have as many arguments, as many choice of thoughts that they want to have. But at the end of the day, in war, when you lose, everything that you had is forfeited. And the thing was, even in this situation, it wasn't even forfeited. It was sold for certain reasons. But I'm not going to go into that because it has absolutely nothing to do with me. The thing that I want to continue to expose is the fact that people will speak up when they're needed, when they need something, but the moment somebody doesn't agree with or what's going on with them, they have something negative to say. Hence the fact that the homeboy made a comment, basically like the kids that were out there that are protesting, that really don't even know what they're talking about, just out there to turn up. And there's some that they're there because that's that's their calling. They chose to participate in it. Some of them I see on news that were actually there when we were protesting the kids in the cage, which was under Obama. But nobody really talks about that. That's like, that kind of gets swept up under the rug, because at the end of the day, it's like nobody really wants to face that. It's like the media on this side got people so blind that they never want to point the blame exactly where it's supposed to be pointed at. They always want to bring it to and don't get me wrong, whatever Trump is doing right now, dude, is on a good one. A lot of laws that are laid before, a lot of laws that are made up by the president before that, when people step into the office, they tend to want to erase a lot of them. It's setting down their foundation, and a lot of it is on top of whatever was, whatever. Now I get it. Like it's one of those things that it's gonna be turmoil. People are gonna talk negative about it, and that's not even the thing. That's the thing that I find the most disturbing is the fact that throughout the last couple of years, there's been things that's transpired, and people have been pretty much blaming everybody. It's like it's always something to do with the whole entire race. Like I heard numerous times, oh yeah, the blacks, they love to be crybabies. They cry about everything, any injustice they cry about. And there's some things that I can kind of see. Like there's some things that don't necessarily need to be protests about, but then there's a lot of other ones, because it not only helps the blacks in the long run, it also helps other people when people sit and fight, the good fight. Like when the civil rights and all that was taking place, there was not too many races that was actually taking part in that in that they weren't taking part in it. They had absolutely nothing to do with it when civil rights was the thing that made it possible for a lot of people to actually not only come here or come back here, but it made it possible for other things that are considered unconstitutional to prevent them from transpiring. Now, I'm not going to get on here and talk about the whole, what blacks have contributed, because then I would have to get into what Hispanics have contributed and Asians have contributed. Every race has contributed to this country in one way or another. When you come to horticulture and stuff like that, as far as like on the West Coast and stuff like that, then it's different. That has more to do with, Mexican migrants and other people I'll just say Hispanic, how should I say? Basically, we already know that. I'm not going to go into that. But then when you go to like New York, you had the Italian, you had the Polish, you had this, you had that, you had the blacks building the South. Like everybody has had a piece in somewhere or another in building this country. It wasn't just one. And that's not to point things out or to try to make one seem better than the other. It's just saying that it took everybody to make the United States what it is. It just wasn't one race. And I hear that a lot, like, oh, well, if we are no longer here, yeah, there's a lot of things people are gonna be hurt, like, because there's a lot of things that only certain groups are really, really good at. But over the time, people it's more, I tell you, and it's more about pay. See, when you put Mexicanos in the field to do what they do, it's efficiency. They've already did it for so long that it's just like, it's like clockwork. I know, because I've been in certain situations where I'm working and I'm the only black dude there, and I'm not working as efficient as the people that are right there, and they let me know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, like to see, like, even in workplace, there's discrimination everywhere, especially if you're not of a certain race. In Los Angeles, in California, period, you are discriminated against. But I don't care. At the end of the day, it don't mean nothing. I'm a Southerner, you know what I mean? So there's a separation right there. My how should I say, my loyalty is to my car. You know what I'm saying? My loyalty is to my car, so I represent it as such. Now, everything else, I've tried to be a part of numerous things to try to, get people's voices and we get torn down I'm not gonna even go into like personal things as far as like what has what I won't say suffer, but what I've been through in order to try to, do for a lot of other people, because a lot of people have did it. The only thing that I wanted to get on here and talk about is just the hypocrisy and everything. Like, it's just like Cholos, let's just put it there, or gangsters that are of Hispanic, ethnicity or whatever. Like let's just go there. Like so, 1 minute, Cholos are the most hated, and any gangster panieros, whatever you want to call them, are hated and not worth the time of day. But then, soon as something happens, they're expected to step up and do the dirty work that people fail to do. Like I see a lot of people on phones. They use phones and they capture absolutely everything. Oh yeah, you see this, dude? That's the difference between us. And people know that if something's happening right there and your people are being assaulted, the homies are gonna step up and smash. Like it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're any other race, even the same race, coming and assaulting somebody that's trying to make a living, the homies are gonna smash you off the back. And the homies are also guilty of doing the same exact thing, taking advantage of their people. But it is what it. That's what. It just is what it is. Nobody can really take back what they did, because there's a lot of things that transpire that people are not necessarily happy about or proud of, but they've transpired, so nobody can really take that back. But that's the vast difference. A lot of people online will talk about what they'll do, but physically, when it comes down to it, unless they're really forced, they're not going to do absolutely nothing. The homies will get on at, like, if let's just say like this, say Rasa die, you know what I mean, over something, and fools have an idea of where it came from, they can go and do something. It's just what it is, and it's negative, but it's going to be more than talk. It's going to be action, like, and that's just, and people will use that when they're angry and they're up in arms, but they won't go do it themselves. They'll pump that up and push for the homies to go do things. And then when a situation like this, where a homie has criticism over what's taking place in the streets, and not believing everybody is 100% in it, it gets thrown back in the face. Like, I'm always one for the cause. Like, I've been there, and I've been throwing my hat in the ring, like, to try to do certain things. And I'll be getting looked at like I'm stupid, because at the end of the day, it's like, it is true. Like, I'm black as the day I came out. Like, it don't matter what's in my family's DNA or anything, or at the end of the day, I'm as black as I came out, but I still felt like this is something I represent. I'm gonna go 100 in the paint. And even when they were doing the whole protest about Obama's actions about putting kids in cages and kids coming up missing, it was me and a lot of other homies. There was a lot of blacks down there protesting and doing what they needed to do. Of course, I mean, they're not going to outnumber you. They're not the vast majority of Los Angeles. The vast majority of especially Southern California, is Hispanics of many different whatever, but they're all Hispanics. Like, so if you bring 200 blacks, they're going to blend in, they're going to be like a dot in the crowd. They're going to be overwhelmed, so you're not going to see that. But that's all I'm going to say on that end. Like, it's just, it makes no sense to, just to be disrespectful to homies just because they don't necessarily share your opinion. There's a lot of people I know, even in the last one, that was there just for photo ops. They take pictures and then they were gone. They wanted to be present because they want their social media to boom. But when it came to time after week being in the same spots and going from Long Beach to that one to downtown LA and doing the protest, like, they were nowhere to be found. I mean, they were there for a couple of minutes, see a couple of people, walk one block, dip off the next. It was just what it was. But nobody necessarily talked mess about them, because at the end of the day, it's like they showed up. You know what I'm saying? And people need to be a lot more thoughtful about that people at least show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, be more thoughtful. But at the end of the day, that's all I'm gonna say on that. Like, it's an uphill battle, man. Like, people want to make everything about who you voted for. It had nothing to do. They were gonna remove you regardless, dude. They don't want you here, especially if you outnumber them. And the thing is, it's like, I see a lot of energy now on social media for the blacks. Well, where are the blacks? Where are the blacks? But then you go 4 comments down, and it's we don't need these. We don't need, like, and then you'll have blacks telling, "Hey, I got your back." Like, oh, you're just 1 or 2 or 3. That's 1 or 2 or 3. When things were taking place with the one dude that got killed, Floyd, nobody was right there. People in the comments with the whites talking about that's what he get. Like, I could do it. Some of you, I know for a fact who you are. Like, through the whole freaking comment, you were just like, oh, that fool. And to be honest, I didn't really worried about dude either. I don't know him, so I didn't. It was like whatever. It was more like it's messed up, but I mean I didn't know who he was, so I just went on about my day. But yet I was at the protest when it came to letting them kids out the cage or trying to get out the cage. I was there, and a lot of people can tell you, but it's something that passed. Like it's like even like with the homies, are like, hey, we should go to this one, but then it's like. It ain't enough of us to really make no impact. So if I go with 20 black dudes, that don't make no impact. Nobody really cares. To be honest, a lot of people don't even want us there, period. So it's like it don't matter what your affiliation is. I could have been a Southerner for my whole life, which pretty much that is. But people don't want you there because they always have something to criticize. Like you can't expect to be disrespecting one race all through the year and then something happens and then you want them to have your back. I can guarantee you that let it turn over and there will be nobody there except the people that got real solidarity to blacks. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been proven time and time again. Like so for the people that you don't want the Cholos there, you want the Cholos there. You don't want the blacks there, you want the blacks there. The blacks are there, they're not enough for them. The Cholos are there, they shouldn't be there. But it's 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 like like. It's a lot of hypocrisy, dog. Like you either want help or you don't. At the end of the day, it's not when you look at. And I'm gonna tell you this, for the ones that's mad at the blacks and Cholos and all that, most of the people voting for you to be gone is your people. The whites is only. I mean, the racist whites are the only ones pushing it because it works better in their favor. When you're and I'll tell you the thing that white people are not necessarily taking it serious because anytime you wave a flag, regardless of what the territory was before, if you wave like it's like when people see a Mexican flag on us, the criticism is there because it's like, oh, you're a black dude with a Mexican flag, but you know what the most of the criticism is that you're a black dude with a Mexican flag on in the United States. Like I said, regardless of who the past territory belonged to, it's been how many years? They see that as you're always. It's a sense of national pride. Like when you go to Mexico, if I wave an American flag out there, I'm gonna get assaulted. Fool's gonna get at me. They're gonna do some. I might even come up missing. So it's the same out here. The only different thing. This is not like you're gonna get caught a lot easier out here. So people are not going out of their ways to do certain things. But you gotta kind of understand why people are the way they are, and it sucks what they're doing right now. But waving flags that are not necessarily of this country, that's why they're targeting you. You became the majority. That's why they're targeting you. They don't anything. It's like when you ask homies, like when black fools get with their race, or families that are of different race, ethnicities, backgrounds as far as that, because not everybody is a race. There's ethnicities. We'll just put that everybody up under that blanket. But when you got certain ethnicities come into your family and they don't necessarily how should I say? It's the word. It's not comply. It's assimilate. If you come into a family, you don't necessarily assimilate to their ways and take on their ways, it's a lot of turmoil because people don't want what they have to go away. And coming into anybody's family and changing the way the people think, I mean, as far as who you're dating, how they bring up their kids, people don't want that. So they have something to say about it. Now, that's the same in this sense. And I don't need to really defend the United States. It's just what it is. It's just facts. Like most black people in this country assimilated. They have no choice. They've been broken. They've been beat. A lot of things have transpired. Yeah, they still hold tight to some of their roots in Africa. But even then, when you look at it, it's a real arguments over that. Like if you really get into history, dude, it'll blow a lot of people's mind. But I'm not here to give history lessons. I'm just here to say that there's a way to do things. And don't be so negative when you only have 5 or 6 blacks there. Just accept the fact that there's 5 or 6 blacks there and they're really putting on, because I can guarantee you, and it's always been like this, and I've said it a million times, when it comes to political stances and real political power, nobody really has it, but one is going to stand out more than the rest. When Biden and Kamala is trying to get into office, tell me, when did they really visit the Hispanic community asking for your votes? They didn't. They didn't. They were not necessarily interested in your vote. They're interested in the black and the white vote. And maybe who else that have, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a reason. That's why I tell you, like, when you have these political leaders that go and they're corrupt and they do all this stuff, like, the focus is on them because they're the majority. They're not a majority, but they're like a small, minute section of people that are actually of your ethnicity that are in politics, that actually admit that they are of your race. But all I'm gonna say is, like, when you want things like this to take things like this away, and for things like this not to happen, you need to put your people into place in order to, or at least get up there high enough in the political landscape. I mean, you got Bush, which is half, but he's more white, and you know what I mean? It's a lot. But like I said, some people are probably gonna hate this, but it's just being honest, dog. Like, you gotta be honest with yourself. It don't make no sense for you to continue to bump your head. No matter how many protests take place, they're not gonna change their stance on that until they're forced to change their stance. And I got another video of some stuff, because I've been hearing a lot of stuff, and it just comic. The whole thing, dude, hopefully all this stuff is resolved in a way to where it don't hurt too many people, because I don't see it stopping anytime really soon, but hopefully certain things can be reversed, and you know what I mean? But there's like it's like a person told me there's laws, and it's funny because this person was Mexican, and they were the main one speaking about this laws and this ways to come in, and people like, the blacks don't have no choice. We don't have nowhere to really go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have they don't really have nowhere to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they tried that with jail and plantations and things of that nature. But other than that, it's like we don't have no real place to go. I mean, Africa's, they're trying to pull everybody back there, and I'm sure a lot of people will go. But at the end of the day, it's like this has been a place where a lot of us was born and raised. So it's like, what would we be doing out there? But anyways, man, I'm you know what I mean? Hopefully, whoever takes it personal, let's talk about it. But either you want the gangster to help you or you don't. Either we have a voice or we don't. Oh, you're a pocho. Like, what? Like, dude, this fool is still of your race, and he's fighting to help you, but you have a problem with him. Like, it's just weird. You know what I mean? With that being said, your boy Zod, and I'm out.